Hey, what's up everybody? So today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my story with arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis in particular. So let's cut right to the chase. Let's get right to it. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I started experiencing some really rough joint pain. It was my junior year of high school, just going into my senior year, right after junior prom. Life is good, I've got everything going for me, there's so many opportunities, so many cool things to do. But I was about to find out that life wasn't about to open up as much as I wanted it to because I was about to be hindered so much, almost crippled in a way. So I'll skip over most of the details because I know most of you guys really just want to know how did I get better? How did I get to the point where I'm at now? So about my sophomore year in college, I got to. And by that point, it had spread all the way up my spine. It started just at the base of my sacrum, and it spread all the way up my spine, and it was starting to spread into other joints in my body, like my hips and my shoulders and my elbows. And I thought, man, is this all there is? Am I just going to be crippled for the rest of my life? Because I was relying on pain-killing drugs. You know, I was taking ibuprofen 4, 5, 6 times a day, sometimes twice a night, just to keep the pain at bay. I could barely walk to the shower in the middle of the night. Lots of times I'd have to have my mom help me get up in the morning. It was embarrassing. It was terrible. And it takes everything that I love. It took everything that I loved about my life, and it just crushed it. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it to somebody who hasn't really experienced that. But it's horrifying. So now you know I got really bad. So how do I actually get better? I'll try to keep this brief. I'm known for talking a lot. But it comes down to really 4 factors. Factor number 1, whole food plant-based diet. So you might be asking yourself, what is a whole food plant-based diet? Well, a whole food plant-based diet is basically just that, a diet centered around whole plant foods. So think whole plant foods like potatoes, not potato chips, olives, not olive oil. I ditched all the animal products, I ditched all the processed foods, and I thought at first it was just processed foods because I had been in the fitness scene, I had been in kind of the fitness industry, and you know, I know how toxic that is now. And I had really eliminated most processed foods from my diet, so I knew that couldn't be a huge part of what it was, and turns out it wasn't. So I eliminated processed foods completely, cut and dry. And then I took animal foods out of the equation as well. And I think it's worth noting that I did try things like the paleo approach and the ketogenic approach. And while they did help, they did improve, the long-term health risks are worrying to say the least. And I never got to the point that I got now, like whole food plant-based. Oh my gosh, there's no comparison. Ketogenic, paleo, anything. I tried so many things. So I made the switch for good. And I thought I would miss meat, and you know, I thought I was just this coming from the guy that ate like 4 chicken breasts a day, a half tub of cottage cheese, 4 pints of like fat-free yogurt, because I was really trying to cram that protein in, because I thought that was like super important or whatever. Like I said, I was in the fitness industry, fitness scene, following fitness YouTubers. You know, can't get more toxic than the fitness side of YouTube, and gosh, there's so much misleading information. Also, if I'm sweating a little bit, I am outside. It's really hot outside, just so you know. Okay, so factor number 2, movement. Movement? Don't we all move? Yeah, we all move, but I mean movement in the sense that you're trying to go against the grain of what your body might be telling you to do. Here's what I mean by that. Whenever I was ridden with arthritic pain, I didn't want to move at all. I didn't want to do anything. I had stopped exercising completely, and I actually put on quite a bit of weight because, you know, I was eating, I mean, I thought I was eating pretty good, but I sure as heck wasn't eating that clean. And I wasn't moving as much because it just hurt. It just hurt. Everything. And I didn't want to do it, so I just didn't. I figured rest is the best thing. That's what every doctor told me. I went to so many doctors that, yeah, you know, you're a healthy young guy, just rest, it'll get better. It won't get better. If there's a chronic underlying condition, you're not going to get better just by resting. I'm sorry to say, but you're going to have to do some exercise. Now, I know a lot of you might not like exercise, but here's the thing, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I came from this, you know, high school sports kind of background to where you have to go as hard as you're going to go, get better every single day, otherwise don't do it. Why are you doing it? You're wasting your time. that's not how it has to be, especially when you're just trying to better yourself and reverse a chronic disease. So I actually started just by standing up and just kind of walking, bringing my knees to my hands, and just trying to do that for as long as I could. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe a little less if I felt like it. I just tried to do something. My whole motto became just do something. So I tried to do some stretching every single day, even though it really hurt. And I tried to get some mostly cardiovascular activity is what really benefited me. So getting blood flow to all those little nooks and crannies in your joints, it felt better after a while, because once I could stand, I'd work my way up to kind of enduring through 20 minutes of cardiovascular activity. I had really started to feel, oh my gosh, wow, this is really helping. And then the benefit would go away after a little while. But if you keep it up, it's a cumulative benefit. Cumulative. It's a hard word to say. So I guess I have like some spilled water on my shirt, and I just realized that. I think it's been there like the whole video. I was just drinking some water out here earlier. So I guess you're just gonna have to deal with that for the rest of the video. Hope you don't mind. So here's the thing, even if you just increase the intensity like 1% per day, you're gonna be so much better in 2, 3, 4 months. Who knows where you could be? But you have to do it in combination with the diet, otherwise you are not getting rid of the root cause of your inflammation. The diet, it's worth pointing out that the diet was the absolutely most crucial aspect to my recovery. I would weigh it about diet 75% of recovery, exercise 25, if you're gonna split it those two. Factor 3. Now it's worth pointing out, factors 3 and 4 are the, I hate to say lesser importance, but they are of slightly lesser importance, but for overall good health, they are incredibly important and they cannot be understated. So it is just stress less. We have, if you doubt that stress affects your body in the most physical of ways, I don't know where you've been, your entire life. I mean, you feel stressed on a work day, you're gonna feel it in your body the next day. If you're chronically stressed all the time, you might be under a whole lot of physical stress because of that and not even know it. So it was kind of about dealing with my emotions in a way that wasn't self-patronizing. And this was stuff that was all going on underneath the surface, and I didn't even realize it. I always thought of myself as an incredibly upbeat and positive person. And while I was kind of, there were some repressed emotions underneath the surface. And I can talk more about this in another video, but the point is you have to deal with the stress. You have to deal with the underlying emotional issues that you might be feeling, because that's a huge part of mental recovery and thus physical recovery. Factor 4. I know a lot of you guys might hear this and you're like, I don't want to hear this, and click out of the video. Stick with me for just a second, because I promise you it might not be exactly what you're thinking. So it is going to be just love more in your life. What do I mean by that? Well, for me it came through a spiritual aspect. It came through the spiritual perspective. I'm a Christian, I'm a Christ follower, if anybody is wondering. Now, it doesn't have to be through that lens, but the important part is that you are loving more in your life. Whenever you go to work, or whenever you wake up in the morning, is the first thing that you think, oh, how am I going to do this today? Or, oh man, I hope I don't have to talk to her today. Hope I don't have to do that today. Hope I don't have to blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Now you might think, this is exactly the same as the one before. Well, it's related, and it's so interrelated that you might not be able to distinguish the difference at first, but stick with me. You have to find an external source of power beyond yourself. If you're just relying on, when you get up in the morning, how am I going to feel that day? Or if you're relying on external circumstances to create something like happiness within yourself, you're going to fall short every time. Let's be honest, we're all flawed individuals. Nobody's perfect. So if you're trying to rely on yourself or other people to bring you happiness in any way, shape, or form, you're never really going to achieve a sense of happiness. So I know this doesn't seem related to physical health and healing from something like arthritis or an autoimmune condition, but I promise you, if you just try to implement something like this in your life, loving more is what you could boil it all down to. I promise you'll see some big, big benefits. All right, so those are my 4 factors. Let's review real quick. 1 was a whole food plant-based diet. That's a diet based on exactly that, whole plant foods. Minimizing the animal products, cutting them out if you can, minimizing the processed foods, again, cutting them out if you can. You're not going to die without them. You know, Twinkies, not a necessary part of the diet. Steak, not a necessary part of the diet. Much to my dismay whenever I first started this. Second was movement, exercise, just getting some blood flowing. And it feels good after a while. Trust me, just do what you can when you start. If you can just move your arms back and forth, just do that. Just do something. Remember that motto. Number 3, stress less. So there's not much more I can say about that. I think we all know some, stress relieving strategies. Yoga, meditation, stretching, getting good sleep, having good quality relationships and community with other people around you, all great stress relief mechanisms. So, stress less. And number 4, love more. This doesn't have to come through some big spiritual awakening, anything. If you don't follow any type of religion, you can still benefit from loving more in your life and finding a sense of purpose outside of yourself. So just some closing thoughts. If you're suffering with something like arthritis or ankylosing spondylitis in my case, or any other autoimmune condition, or just things that are caused by the standard American Western lifestyle, don't wait, don't delay until you feel so bad that you can't even do anything. Don't be like me. Don't do that to yourself, because you will not like it. You will regret that decision. Get right now, because you can do it. The power is in your hands to make yourself the best version of yourself. It might not be easy, but I promise, willpower is only the very beginning of it. Once you get over that initial hump, your taste buds start to change, and you really will start to desire healthy food. You really will start to desire movement and that blood flow and the good feeling you get with exercise. You really will desire deeply to have close interconnected relationships and stress less and have an incredibly loving life around you. You will start to desire those things, and it might be really hard in the beginning, but I promise you, you can totally do it, and the power is all in your hands. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I really plan to do as much as you guys want me to do with this channel, so if you want to see, what I eat in a day, kind of videos, I know those are super trendy on YouTube now, and if you want to see things like how I exercise or, other facets of my life, I am totally open to that, because this is just kind of scratching the surface of how to really just live a healthy lifestyle in general, not just reverse things like arthritis and autoimmune conditions. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh my gosh, starting to get pit stains. Knew it was a bad idea to film this outside, dang it!